In this video, I want to show you how to access your gradebook in PowerSchool. I want to give you a brief overview of the gradebook itself in PowerTeacher Pro. I want to show you how to access and create categories, and I also want to show you how to set up your traditional grade calculations. When you log into PowerSchool, there are several ways that you can access your PowerTeacher Pro gradebook. On the left side of your screen is PowerTeacher Pro, and you can click on that option and it will open it up, and it will just open up into the first course that has been assigned to you. You can also go directly to a class's gradebook. So for example, if I want to go directly to my fourth period class's gradebook, I could just click on PowerTeacher Pro below my class, and it will take me directly to the gradebook for that course. So I'm just going to come over here and just click on PowerTeacher Pro. When you open your gradebook, it will open into the first class or the class that you choose within PowerSchool to open your gradebook, and it will open within the assignments for that class. I want to show you how to change the term for your gradebook. For example, we will start in quarter one, but eventually you'll want to change to quarter two. So you do that just by choosing this drop-down option, and you just change it to the term in which you want to start adding and working within. I also want you to notice that when you choose that drop-down option to change the term in which you're in, you can also see the dates that are assigned to those terms. For example, when it's time to enter in your first semester exam grade or your second semester exam grade or your end of course exam grade, you will notice that in your gradebook you need to assign that grade on a particular date. And you see those dates for those terms. For example, E1 has a date of January 4th through January 7th. So when a teacher enters in their first semester exam grade for E1, it needs to be given a date within this range. Now I just want to give you just a brief overview of some of the other features or areas within PowerTeacher Pro that we use quite often. Within grading, obviously there is assignments. This is your assignment list. So as you create assignments, you will see those assignments listed here. Next is under grading is score sheet. I personally use score sheet to enter in the grades for all of my assignments because I can see the big picture. I can see all the assignments listed here, and then I can easily just click in the box and add in a grade. There's also categories. We will look at those in just a moment. Next is students. You can see some student information. I've never really used progress, so I'm going to skip that. But under reports, you can print out individual student reports, which are progress reports or interim reports. You can also print your student roster in an Excel spreadsheet. So if you want to grab all of their names and some of their information, you can do that. You can export that report by going there. And there's also settings, and settings is where we will find our traditional grade calculations and where we will make those changes in just a moment. One thing I do want to point out is under settings, under class descriptions, if you'll click on that, for each class, you're able to give it a custom name. I like to actually change my custom name so that when I do print out a report, I'm able to customize that name in which the student sees. So I'm going to come in here and change what was preloaded for me for this class, Principles of Engineering. I'm going to put in honors at the end. And then I'm just going to hit save. And that means whenever this class, whenever there's a report printed for this class, it will use this name versus the name that was given by default through the district. For example, right here it says, this is the name the district gives this course. I want it to use this name instead. I personally like that, so when I choose the drop-down option, you'll see that custom name appear versus once I change this course from PLTW, Civil Engineering and Architecture, it'll just say Civil Engineering and Architecture Honors. So I went through and changed all the names. I've given all my courses custom names, and you can see that on your screen here. So I personally like that. Just I'm used to seeing my names for my courses listed like this. So you can choose to do this, or you can choose to leave it alone. But I just wanted to show you this option. Before you can set up your traditional grade calculations, you need to ensure that you have the correct categories added to your gradebook for your courses. You find your categories by going to Grading and then choose Categories. When you open up your categories, you may see a list of categories that have been already preloaded for you by our district. You will notice those categories. It will have a little symbol of a little schoolhouse to the right of those categories. Those are given to you by our district and are preloaded. They encourage you to use those categories if they work for you, but you can also create categories that work for you that are unique for your course. For example, mine are major assignments and daily assignments and class participation. I have created those two, and I will show you how to create a category so that you can create the categories you need. If these work for you, the ones that the district has preloaded for you, please use them. But if you would like to create one, you can. You'll notice in the top right-hand corner right here that it says Show Inactive. I have checked that because I have made some of the categories that I'm not using inactive so that when I uncheck this, I will see only the categories that I use for my class. So I'm going to show those again, but when you click on any one of these categories, for example, this is the distant learning packets category that I created a couple years ago when we went to our long extended break for COVID. If you'll click on that little pencil, I can make that inactive. I can make it active, but I can also make it inactive. So I'm going to leave it inactive. So the categories that you do not want to use, you can actually open them up and choose inactive, and it will go into your inactive list. And that way you will only see the categories that you deem active. So I would encourage you to do that. It makes it very simple. So when you click on categories, it will go directly to the categories that are active for your gradebook. To add a category, you simply go to the plus sign and you will choose category. Next, you will give your category a name. So let's just call this homework. And then you can give it a color. I would recommend you give your different categories different colors just so you can see when we do the setup in your traditional grade calculations. So let's just give this one a tan color. And again, you can choose to make them active and inactive, but since you're creating this one, you would probably want to make it active. So once you create that, you can hit save. But I do want to show this. There's an option right here, limit this category to these classes. If you choose this drop-down option, you can choose this category to be just for one class, or you can leave it alone and it will apply this category to all your classes. If you make the mistake and go in and check one of these classes, it's going to only add this category for the classes that you check. And then if you decide later on you need that category for the other classes, you're going to have to go in and check all the other classes that you want that category to be in. So I would just recommend, if you're using the same categories for all your classes, just don't even use this option. But I did want to show that in case you have different categories for different classes. And so that's how you do that. So once you are done and you're ready to actually create this category, you simply hit save. Once you have hit save, you will see the categories that you have created for your gradebook, for your classes listed here. And now you're just ready to go in and start setting up your traditional grade calculations for your gradebook. To set up your traditional grade calculations, you go to Settings and then you choose Traditional Grade Calculations. When you choose Traditional Grade Calculations, it will probably open up into your first class that is listed. This is my first class, but this class has already been set up. So I want to show you what it looks like when your traditional grade calculations have not been set up. So when I'm in this class right here, Engineering Design and Development, I have not set the gradebook up or the traditional grade calculations for this class. I have not set it up yet. So whenever you see this blue banner, this means that you have not set up your gradebook. And so you want to basically make it so that those go away. That's the best way to put that. So the way that you begin doing this is I would recommend that you start with quarter one, then go to quarter two. And as we progress or go through the school year, that's how I would recommend you go through setting up your gradebook. It just helps me make sure that I check all the boxes and that I have everything set up. So I'm going to click on the little pencil. This is the edit button for this Q1 for quarter one. I'm going to click on that pencil. And what I want to do is, you'll notice that there is a total points, just one line right here, just one thing set up. I'm going to change that to category weighting. So when you do that, it should start grabbing the categories that you have chosen for your class, the active categories. So you'll want to ensure that you choose the right one or that it chooses the right one. So once you change this to category weighting, I noticed that it chose my first major assignment category. And so I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm not going to do anything with the weight yet. I'm just going to hit the plus sign, and then I'm going to choose category weighting again, and it should grab my second one, and then I am ready to mess with the weights if I need to. You may have 4 or 5 weights, so you would want to add all of those and then go in and fix your weights. So for example, this is basically a 60-40 setup. So what I like to do is come in for my major assignments, and this will be 60% of my student's grade. And then I'm going to go into daily assignments, and I'm going to make this one 40% of their grade. And the key is making sure that these two add up to be 100. So once you are done setting up a quarter and you have put in all your categories, you've set them to category weighting, you see all of those listed here. And by the way, you'll notice you'll see the different colors. That's where it helps me see that I have grabbed the correct categories. Once you've put in your weight, you simply hit save. When you hit save, that blue banner will disappear. You'll do the same thing for quarter two. So I'm going to hit pause, and I'm going to do this for quarter two. As you can see, I have already set up my quarter two. So the next one to work on, in my opinion, would be E1, the semester 1 exam. So what I like to do to remove this little blue banner, I just open this up, and all I do is hit save. I don't change anything. I leave it total points, and I leave it at a weight of 1 because it really doesn't matter, because it's just going to be one grade, and the gradebook really doesn't care what you give it here. So I'm just going to hit save. Next, I'm going to work on my semester 1. So I will open up that one. I will edit S1. And I will make this, I'm going to change from total points to term weighting. It should grab quarter 1. And then what I'm going to do next is hit the plus right here to add another one. And I'm going to change this to term weighting. And it should change this to quarter 2. If it doesn't, and I had it happen before where it grabbed the wrong thing, you just simply choose the drop down option and choose the one that it should have grabbed. Next, I'm going to hit the plus, and I'm going to choose term weighting, and then it grabbed the E1, so that's good. So your term weighting, quarter 1 is going to be 40, quarter 2 is going to be 40, and your semester exam is going to be 20. So it should be 40, 40, 20. Those again will add up to equal 100. So once you have set up S1, you simply hit save. You'll notice that the blue banner has now disappeared. So what you'll want to do now is pretty much repeat the same steps that I just showed you for quarter 3, 4, E2, and S2. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit pause, or I'm going to stop recording, and then I'm going to go ahead and set up Q3, 4, and S2. I don't want to waste your time doing that. If you need to see that done again, just rewind this video and watch how I did it previously. So that's what I'll do now. As you can see, I have set up quarter 3, 4, and S2. I do want to show you one particular thing about S1 and S2. I'm just going to open up S2. You'll notice that I do have quarter 3 is going to be 40, quarter 4 is going to be 40, and E2 or E1 will be 20. If you do not give a semester exam, you can still set it up like this, and when it is all said and done, it will, if you don't put anything in E2, it will automatically make quarter 3 and quarter 4 be 50-50. So if you don't give a semester exam, you don't have to put this in, but I just do it for good practice, because if you decide years later you want to give a semester exam, you can do that. And I'm going to show you shortly how to actually copy from previous courses into new courses in the future. But that is all of the courses, all the terms that have been set up for quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, semester 1 and 2 in the exams. E2, I need to go ahead and open that up and just simply hit save. I don't need to do anything for this one. Same thing for C2. This is for your end of course exam. If you give one, you still want to try to remove this blue banner, so just open up the pencil and just hit save like you did for the exams. The last one to really set up is the Y1, which is for the year. This is the total complete picture. So we're going to hit the little pencil next to Y1 to edit this term. And so I'm going to change this to term weighting. And then it should have grabbed semester 1. I'm going to hit the plus sign and change this one to term weighting. It should grab S2, but it did not. So I'm going to have to tell it that this should be S2. And then lastly, if you have an EOC, you would hit the plus sign and you would change total points to term weighting, and then you will choose C2. The setup for this, my understanding, unless I am incorrect on this, is 40, 40, 20. So the end of course test counts as 20% of their final grade. So what I would do is, if you're not going to give an EOC, just simply, you can set it up like this or just completely leave it out. If you don't use, if you leave the 20% in, if you leave it in like I have shown here, and you don't use C2, it will automatically make semester 1 and semester 2 50-50. It will calculate those out correctly. So once you have done setting up Y1, just hit save. And that's how you set up a class, or set up your traditional grade calculations for one of your classes. The last thing that I want to show you is how to copy your traditional grade calculations to other courses. So you can do this within one school year. So I can copy this setup that I have just done for engineering, design, and development. I can copy this exact setup to all the other courses that I teach this school year, if my categories and if my setup is going to be the same. So to do that, you simply hit the gear, which is located right here, and then I want to choose Copy Traditional Grade Calculations. Next, it asks you, where do you want to copy your traditional grade calculations from? So I want to choose this year. If you know that there is a previous year that you have used a grade setup that you want to copy into this current year, you can do that just by choosing the drop-down option, choose the year, and then you would choose the course. But for just this example, I'm going to choose this school year, make sure it says 21-22, and then I'm going to choose my course. I want to copy the setup that I just did for this course, and I want to copy it to the courses that I'm getting ready to select. So the term for the courses that I want to copy all of this setup to, the term is going to be this school year. So I'm just going to choose 21-22, and then I'm going to choose my courses. I already have 2 courses set up, but if you've set up only one of your courses, your first course, you can just hit select all and then just hit validate. When you do, this will come up and it looks like maybe there's something wrong, but I promise you nothing's wrong. It's just giving you a chance, an opportunity to verify that everything is matching up. So where it's being copied from, Q1 and Q1 are going to match up, Q2 and Q2 are going to match up. This is just other information that really does not apply to what we've done to set up our traditional grade calculations. But to finalize this copy, you simply just hit copy. And then once you do that, all of the traditional grade calculations that were in this course, Engineering Design and Development, has now been copied to all my other courses that I teach this school year. It is good practice to choose a course and just open up some of the terms. For example, let's open up quarter one and just make sure that everything did copy over correctly. It doesn't take long to do that. And so I think it's good that you just open up and make sure that everything copied over correctly. So I just open up Q1 and E1. Let's just check Q4. That looks good. So you can check S1, make sure that's okay. So you just can randomly choose certain ones throughout and make sure that everything's been done right. Obviously you want to make sure that Y1 is correct. And I would recommend towards the end of every quarter to check your categories, make sure the setup within your gradebook is correct. I'm about to show what your setup should look like if you teach a semester course. It is slightly different. It is very similar, except you just will not have, traditionally you would not have a Y1. You would just have your 2 quarters, you would have your exam, a semester 1, which really works as your Y1 if you teach a semester course. And I will show you that in just a moment. So I am now in my wife's gradebook. Please know that she has given me permission to open up her gradebook and use this as an example. So you'll notice in her gradebook, she teaches 2 courses that are semester courses. She teaches Health Science 1, which is her first semester course that she teaches with this group of students. And then those same students take Health Science 2. So her setup right now, this is actually not the completed picture when it's all said and done. I have been told by our district that Y1 will be disappearing shortly, so it is not needed for semester courses. But the setup is very similar to year-long courses. So she has quarter 1, she has summative and formative 60-40, just as I use similar for my courses. So she has her quarters set up. She has the exams set up correctly. So she has E1 set up as just total points. She has C1 set up as total points. That would be an end of course test if she had it for this. And then she needs to, you need to ensure if you have a semester course that you set up semester 1. This again works sort of like Y1. It is the final grade for this course. So you want to ensure that quarter 1 and quarter 2 and E1, if you give a semester exam, are in this S1 for this semester course. So it's 40, 40, 20. So her setup is good. Again, Y1 is supposed to be disappearing at some point. So I want to show you what her next class looks like because it's second semester. So this one has quarter 3 and quarter 4. Same setup, it's just different quarters. So quarter 3 setup, she needs to verify that. And then she can verify quarter 4, and then E2, C2, and then S2. It's good just to open that up, verify that those are correct, and again, Y1 will disappear before too long. Now, as I showed you already, you can copy your traditional grade calculations within a current year to another course, but for semester courses, what you'll want to do is be very mindful that if you're going to copy the grade calculations from a semester 1 course, you'll want to copy those to another semester 1 course because obviously they have quarter 1 and quarter 2. I don't think it lines up perfectly. It doesn't work well when you try to copy the traditional grade calculations from a semester 1 course to a semester 2 course. You can give it a try, but you will see if it doesn't work, you'll see the blue banner and you'll know that you need to make some adjustments there. But again, I just want to show you what it looked like to have semester courses and what that setup should look like. But again, I cannot stress enough, it is just good practice throughout the quarter and definitely towards the end of each quarter to open this back up and just verify that nothing has changed. And you may be thinking, what are you talking about? How could things change? Sometimes our district will make changes or do things to our grade books that we are unaware of, that sometimes unknowingly will change or alter our grade books. And it has been done before where something, the category weights got messed up. And so it's just good practice to spend maybe 20 minutes of your time throughout the quarter and towards the end of a quarter and just verify that everything is still fine. It doesn't take long to do that, but it will ensure that you will not have to do tons of historical grade change forms to fix something that went wrong. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope it helps you set up your gradebook for this school year.